Official entry to Oscars this year. That's the news that's coming in. Good news for the filmmakers and the actor over there. Rajkummar Rao, as we know, is the actor of the film, and this is India's official entry to the Best Foreign Film Language category at the Oscars. Let's go across to my colleague Uday Pratap Singh joining us with further details. Uday, great news that's coming in for the filmmakers of Newton as well as the cast and crew.
Absolutely, Akshay. Of course, this is indeed brilliant news. This is a film, of course, that has been all across the world, earned acclaim at foreign film festivals as well. And incidentally, in fact, this is good news considering that the movie releases today. Today is, of course, the Friday when Newton hits theaters in India. And in fact, I've spoken with the entire team of the movie in an exclusive interview just earlier this week. And, you know, they were talking, of course, about the kind of phenomenal response that they had got for this film. Of course, at that time, they had no this would finally end up and get, you know, this kind of attention. But yes, this news just came to us, you know, moments ago that after, of course, a shortlist of certain films and, of course, an eminent film jury, they decided to select Newton to be India's choice to actually go to the Oscars next year. Remember, of course, the big question, of course, is can it make the cut? Because remember, for several years, India has not been able to, you know, make its presence felt at the Oscars. There have been a series of films which have been nominated every year, like The Lunchbox, like, you know, Court, etc. But they've never managed to make the cut, even in the nominations, let alone winning the Oscar. So, of course, the big question will be, can Newton prove the inevitable? Now, talking, of course, very quickly about the film, it is a good subject as well, and considering the fact that you know, this film is actually about, you know, a person who works for the government. And he, you know, goes to Maoist-hit areas and other Naxal-affected areas as well to try and prove to them that ballot is bigger than bullet. It's a film about the importance of voting, etc. So it's a good topic as well. And of course, at the end of the day, that's something that's clicked with the jury. And,
all right. Uday, I'm just going to request you to stay with us. Give us a couple of moments. I'll come back to you for more. Our colleague Vandana is also joining us with further details on this. I think that the official announcement has come from none other than the actor himself on Twitter, if I'm not wrong. Vandana, what more can you share with us? Okay, I'll just come back to you, Vandana. We have Mr. Prahlad Kakkar also joining us over the phone line. Mr. Kakkar, India's official entry to the foreign language category at the Oscars this year is Newton. Your first thoughts on this selection?
Well, I think it's a great cast, number one. And I'm sure the directional team has done a superb job on it. And if the jury is selected as the official member, what you call entry of India, it must be an outstanding film. So we're all looking forward to having a look at it.
Yes, you know, it's been a long wait. We've had a dry spell, really, when it comes to India making its mark in the Oscars. And Newton, of course, is a subject where a lot of people who've been able to see the film before its actual release today in that preview last night are talking about how great the content really is and how realistically it is made about the kind of challenges that people may face when it comes to holding elections in Maoist-infested areas, etc. Your thoughts on the subject of the film?
I think it's very relevant. I think it gives a great insight into the Indian, the state of the nation and the milieu.
Okay, Mr. Kakkar, I'm sorry for interrupting you there. Let me bring in the actor, the lead actor of the film, joining us over the phone line, Rajkummar Rao. Rajkummar Rao, congratulations. News is just beginning to come in. Your film, Newton, is the official entry to Oscars. I think you've also just announced it on Twitter. Your first thoughts, how excited are you about this?
I am very excited. You know, I'm so happy that this has happened today when the film, you know, just got released. And it's getting amazing response from everywhere. So this is like amazing. This is big.
This is huge. I mean, this is really huge. Yeah, you were here in our studios a couple of days ago while we were interviewing you. My colleague was talking to you about the film. Now, this is set, the message that really comes out is how important democracy really is. It's about you, who's a government official there, trying to make elections run in a conflict-affected area. Tell us about the hardship and the story that comes out in Newton.
Well, it was not an easy film. You know, it talks about something which is so relevant, something which is so important. It talks about the whole election process and you know how it happens, how it functions, especially in remote areas like Chhattisgarh, like right in the middle of jungles. And this is one honest, idealist guy who's trying to do fair elections, and what are the problems that he faces there. So that is what Newton talks about. But I'm so happy, you know, we made it with so much of sincerity and honesty. And now the jury, the committee has seen the sincerity in the film, and they have made it an official entry to the Oscars.
Yeah, I mean, this is great news. And as I was discussing with a few other members who I was speaking with, India really hasn't made much of an impact of late where Oscars is concerned. And if you've seen the kind of movies that do end up getting the Oscar are with a very strong social message or very close to reality around the world. And that's the kind of film that is really picked up. Now, that's one good thing about Newton as well, because it's only showcasing the reality and the darker side of reality when in terms of how difficult it is to achieve democracy in the remotest of areas because of the kind of conflict that we are looking at, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Like it talks about something, as I said, we showed up in Berlin, in Hong Kong, and it is an Indian film, but it's so universal. People could just connect to so many things there. Corruption exists everywhere. There are problems which are happening everywhere. So it is a very universal film in nature, and I'm pretty sure, we will make a mark at the Oscars.
Yes, we hope so too. It's been a dry spell. Rajkummar Rao, thank you. If you can stay on the phone line. Let me also bring in the director of the film, Mr. Masurkar, joining us on the phone line. Mr. Masurkar, congratulations. Your film, Newton, is the official entry to Oscars. We are hoping that we'll be able to make a huge impact over there. How excited are you this afternoon?
Thank you very much. I'm really happy because we are in the theaters right now.
Oh, okay.
We released the film today.
Yeah.
So we hope that the film is also talking about the challenges that we face as a democracy, and we hope that the film brings attention to these issues. And at the same time, it's also like it's not a preachy film. So we hope that it'll connect with more people.
Yeah. What's the sort of response you're getting? Because you see, people who have been able to catch a preview for the film are really talking much about it. The kind of ratings you've got, 4 on 5 on several of these platforms. Some are giving you 8 on 10 as well. And now it's the official entry to the Oscars. Tell us about a little more in the kind of reactions you're getting.
We're getting a very good response from, so far at the previews, the people who come to watch are our friends, So, they can tell us if they don't like it, but they're liking it, so we're very happy. But we are actually waiting for the public response, which we'll know by, tomorrow, We'll know how it did at the box office and whether people actually went and watched it.
Yeah.
So, I hope that this news is going to help people.
Yes, it will. It will definitely. I mean, I personally also now want to go and watch the film. The fact it is India's official entry. Had you ever imagined, Mr. Masurkar, had you ever thought that Newton could be a film that could actually make a cut for the international foreign films at the Oscars?
No, I was 100% sure that it wouldn't. So
Okay.
I'm quite surprised that it has. So I think I should thank the jury that selected the film.
Yeah.
And of course the entire team, we all of us worked really hard to make this happen.
Yeah. I'm sure what's reflected in the jury while making the decision has been the hard work and the challenges that all of you, the actor, I was speaking to Rajkummar, I hope he's there on the phone line as well while we are talking to you, the kind of challenges and obstacles you faced, and that is something maybe apart from the content, the script, the cinematography, that's something maybe the jury must have also thought of. So can you share in little detail with us?
Yeah, we were shooting in Chhattisgarh in the jungles. It was a conflict area.
Yeah.
So, as a film crew, we didn't have to face any opposition because the people there were very welcoming. The people of Chhattisgarh, those areas want the rest of the India to know about their problems. They want to see their own stories on screen. And which is why we got a lot of love and support from the local people. And I want to dedicate this nomination to them because it's their story.
Yeah. Okay. Mr. Masurkar, you would imagine if this film has been picked up for the Oscars, for the foreign film category, it takes your filmmaking skills to a different league altogether. I mean, from today you'll be recognized in a different league because your film has been picked up and the director for the film. What's the thought in your mind at the moment?
I'm actually not. I actually hope that I'm able to make the stories I want to tell and not get swayed by all this.
Okay.
I mean, this is a great news, and I hope that it helps the film get more viewers. The film get more viewers, and and it helps me make more stories that I want to.
Are you planning to take this film out internationally as well? Now that, of course, it's been picked up, there'll be a lot of intrigue, not just in India, but all across the world, because we know only 5 films that are picked up usually when it comes to the foreign film category. So there'll be a lot of interest all over the world for Newton.
Let's hope so. Let's hope we get to screen it in more parts of the world. You know, we've been to a lot of festivals and we got like great response.
Yeah.
But we hope that this will be picked up by audiences, like the regular cinema-going audiences also.
Yeah, I must tell you, already the hashtag Oscar for Newton has started. So that's good news for you. Support that's coming in.
Thank you. I really want to thank everyone who's supporting us. You know.
Yeah.
It's my producer Manish Mundra or Anand L. Rai, who's presenting the film, Eros International, and of course my entire team, Mayank Tiwari, the writer, cinematographer Swapnil, you know, the art director Angelica, editor Shweta. These are all like my sound designers. So these are all the people who really worked hard. We were there, and everybody was working on it for almost a year. So this is great news for us.
Yes, indeed. And wishing you all the best. Let's just hope we do get that Oscar with Newton. And congratulations once again, Mr. Masurkar, for making the film.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right. That was the director we were speaking with, Amit Masurkar. We've also spoken to Rajkummar Rao, the actor of the film. Both, of course, extremely excited and delighted with the fact that the film has been chosen for the Oscars. If Mr. Prahlad Kakkar is still with us on the phone line, sorry for keeping you on hold, but we were speaking with the actor and director. You must have heard the conversation. Please go ahead, Mr. Kakkar. Please go ahead.
I'm most thrilled. See, one of the reasons why most of our Indian films are not actually recognized or presented properly at the Oscars is that we don't have enough money to lobby. Every country that enters has a certain budget for lobbying, and that becomes a very important part of the selection process. So unless the film is truly outstanding, you need you need to screen the film, you need to entertain people, and so forth and so on. So I hope the makers of the film actually have collect a fund to actually be able to lobby this film properly, so that it gets a proper hearing, screening, etc., etc.
That's a very important point indeed. Mr. Kakkar. Just hold your thoughts there, sir.
Actually, had the backing of a good lobby was Lagan.
Yes.
Ever since then, whatever film that we entered never had a backing of a lobby.
Yeah, so we should have that strong lobby backing this particular film. Mr. Kakkar, if you can stay on the phone line, we'll really appreciate. I want to bring in former CBFC chief, Mr. Palaj Nihalani, who's also joining us over the telephone line. Mr. Nihalani, Newton there, as we know, is the official entry now for the foreign film category in the Oscars. Your first thoughts?
मैं सबसे पहले तो पूरी टीम को, पूरे जो फिल्मों में इन्वॉल्व है उनको बधाई देता हूँ कि जिस तरह से उन्हें जूरी ने एंट्री दिया है, और ये इंडियन फिल्म के लिए बहुत खुशी की बात है। और ऐसे मुझे लगता है कि जब एंट्री मिला, जिस तरह से उसके एंट्री मिला, आई थिंक दे शुड गेट द प्रॉपर वे टू show the film and get the award. So it will be a proud moment for the industry.
Right. Mr. Palaj Nihalani, did you have, were you a part of that committee that actually saw the film before it got its release certificate? And if it did, what did you think of the film? If you've actually seen the film, what do you have to say about the kind of film that this is?
मैंने फिल्म देखी नहीं है, but I have saw the review today in the newspaper. It's a fantastic, and everybody have appreciated the movie, and it has got the around 4.5 stars. So and same time they got the entry also, so it will be the boost to the movie and cinema goers to go and watch the movie, and the box office also brings. So I think it will be a good moment.
Mr. Palaj Nihalani, Mr. Prahlad Kakkar was actually talking about a very important point, that there usually is a strong backing for Indian films to be able to make the cut, like in the case of Lagan, etc. What is your thought on that, Mr. Nihalani, what Mr. Prahlad Kakkar was saying?
The process is very long and this thing. I think jo hai producer is depending on the producer and the crew, how they go about it and make sure that it reaches the proper manner.
Yeah. Because we have to see it making the cut. We've only had about 3 or 4 films in the past that have actually made it to the entry for the best foreign language film over there. Mr. Lenani, thank you for speaking with us. Mr. Prahlad Kakkad, coming back to you, and I want to just emphasize on the point that you were saying, that this is of course India's official entry, we understand, but for it to now make the cut for those 5 films which are going to be in the best foreign film category, a lot of work that will go into it. So who do you think should be able to back this film all the way that it makes that cut to fall into that category?
No, it's not just work. Work to sab koi karta hai. The main thing is like funding. Now, the government does not give the Oscar nominee a fund for lobbying, and so therefore we need funding. So I think what they should do, if the film has traction in the box office, is to get crowdfunding, to be very honest.
Okay.
I think the people of this country will support the film.
Okay. All right. Mr. Prahlad Kakkad, appreciate you joining us, sir. Thank you very much for speaking with us here on NewsX. Let's get you some reactions of the actor and the director who've spoken to us on Newton.
Tell us something about the character first.
Well, as you rightly said, it's a very unique film, unique in concept, unique in storytelling. It talks about a lot of things, a lot of social issues, election process, the way it functions, and then casteism and child marriages, but in a very subtle, with a very subtle humor attached to it. I think which is the unique quality of this film. The story, of course, is of this guy Newton, who is a very idealistic, who believes in principles and very honest by nature, and how he's been assigned this job to conduct elections in the jungles of Chhattisgarh for very few voters, and he's the only one who wants to do this fairly. And there are people like him who represents the system. And they are like, अरे यार इतनी ईमानदार होने की क्या जरूरत है, थोड़ा सा चल जाएगा ना, काम चला लो कुछ. But he is somebody who believes in principles, and that's where the comedy comes from.
All right, you were listening to the actor who gave us the interview just a few days ago. The film Newton is the official entry to Oscars this year from India's side. Now we have to wait and watch if the film will be able to make the cut in the best foreign language film category there at the Oscars. We've spoken to the director and the actor who are quite excited, of course, and the director very modestly telling us that he wasn't expecting this at all. He's genuinely surprised. We were speaking to Amit Masurkar, who said that he is surprised that his film has actually been selected as the official entry to Oscars from Indian side. Now the film has released today. It is about, like you heard the actor, it is about the election process in the conflicted area of Chhattisgarh with an axle problem over there. You can see on your screens, that's the promotional video of the film as well. But for the moment, of course, it's great news. The film releases today, and it has also come in the news for the fact that it is the official entry now, India's official entry to the best foreign language film category. Now, whether or not it will make the cut to be in those top 5 films that the Oscar committee will decide, we'll have to wait and see. But for the moment, of course, a great day there for the actor, Rajkummar Rao, who we spoke with, as well as the director, Amit Masurkar, who are quite surprised, as well as happy about the fact that the Indian committee has chosen their film, Newton, that will be selected for India's official entry there for the best foreign language film category at the Oscars. All right, let's take a listen in once again to what Rajkummar Rao, the actor, had to say about his character, Newton, that he's playing in the film.
Tell us something about the character first.
Well, as you rightly said, it's a very unique film, unique in concept, unique in storytelling. It talks about a lot of things, a lot of social issues, election process, the way it functions, and then casteism and child marriages, but in a very subtle, with a very subtle humor attached to it. I think which is the unique quality of this film. The story, of course, is of this guy Newton, who is a very idealistic, who believes in principles and very honest by nature, and how he's been assigned this job to conduct elections in the jungles of Chhattisgarh for very few voters, and he's the only one who wants to do this fairly. And there are people like him who represents the system, and they are like, अरे यार इतनी ईमानदार होने की क्या जरूरत है, थोड़ा सा चल जाएगा ना, काम चला लो कुछ. But he is somebody who believes in principle, and that's where the comedy comes from.
Review to NewsX firstly.
Let's go across to my colleague Uday on the phone line. He was the one who conducted that interview just a few days ago with the cast and the crew of the film. Uday, like we were saying, this is of course a great day for the film. The fact that A releases today, B, it's also the India's official entry to Oscars. But a lot more that will have to be done before it actually makes the cut in those top 5 films for the best foreign film category. So when you were speaking to the director and the actor, did you ever get a sense that they were looking at something like that to be able to make a cut?
Absolutely, because remember, at the end of the day, the lobbying will have to start now, as one analyst was saying just a short while back. There have been some very good films in the past few years nominated for the Oscars, like Barfi, like Visranai last year, like Court as well, which again was on a on a social issue, was on the backlog of cases in our legal system, etc. But at the end of the day, like Lagan was able to lobby the forces and get that forces and get that final cut to at least the 5 nominations. Other films have not managed to do that. So that's something that Newton will have to do now. But yes, as of course, the team was saying, they have a solid subject. Also, the fact is there is a strong subject as well, a social message. So that's perhaps something that should manage to click with the jury. Remember, Mother India was India's first submission way back in the 1950s, and it had come very close to winning the Academy Award. It had made the final shortlist as well and was one of the nominees. After that, of course, for so many years, no film could make it. Only Salaam Bombay made it, in the 90s, and then Lagan made it in the early 2000s. So only 3 films have actually made the shortlist of nominees at the Oscars to actually, come in the reckoning on that fateful evening in Los Angeles. But the other films have not even made that shortlist. So yes, of course, a lot of hoops on Newton, but at the end of the day, now the lobbying efforts will have to come into play. But one very interesting fact is that we have a lot of Indians who are going to be now in the Oscars voting Academy this year. Remember, the Oscars, in an attempt to include more diverse individuals, had actually included people like Priyanka Chopra, Salman Khan, etc. in the Academy. So perhaps they can, cast the final votes for Newton.
Absolutely. Uday, thanks very much for joining us for a moment. We'll take a listen to the director when he was giving an interview to NewsX.
See, I wanted to do something in the political space, but I didn't want to make a cynical film because most of the political films are cynical. So we wanted to do something that is positive, and we wanted a character who was idealistic and not depressed because he was idealistic, but still doing it because he enjoys doing his job. So that and the fact that I was reading up on elections and there were certain words that caught my attention, like polling booth, EVM, presiding officer. So that suddenly somewhere there was a story and it organically grew.
All right, so that's the director, and we were just speaking with him over the phone line a couple of moments ago, where of course the director himself, Masulkar, was not very sure, and he said he's surprised that his film, amongst all the other 100 films that must have released this year, has made the official entry to Oscars. Now, there's a strong lobby that will have to work for Newton so that it can actually make the cut. In the past, we've only seen 3 films that have been nominated there where the best foreign film category at the Oscars is concerned. The last one was actually Lagan, the Amir Khan starrer, and now once again India has thought that Newton has been the best film for it to be nominated there in the best foreign film category. It has made the cut. It has been selected by the Indian jury over here. As it is, the film is getting good reviews. We've been talking to the cast and the crew as well, and to some people who have been able to watch the a preview of the film, who managed to say that the subject is a very realistic subject and it has been dealt with well. It's about, of course, voting. It's about democracy in conflict-hit areas and how difficult it is to carry on with such an exercise, and Rajkummar Rao plays the lead role in the film.